We got some Ubisoft updates. Microsoft is backtracking. A 2025 game was revealed. Gamescom Leaks. And way more. I'm in Italy right now, but still recorded a Sunday video for you. So sit back and let's go. Xbox ended their showcase this year with an in-depth look at The Outer Worlds 2. The game totally looks like an improvement in almost every regard over the first game, but then we learned that it would be the first Microsoft title to go on sale for $80. Of course, apart from the fact that we don't want to see price increases period, Outer Worlds 2 also felt like a weird pick to be the first one because it doesn't have that huge AAA budget that some of the other Xbox games do have. Well, Microsoft agreed, because they are backtracking and will now indeed sell the game for $70. They even made a small video where they punch someone with the $80 price tag, so then it changes to 70. I mean, they were the ones that decided to go for 80 in the first place, so are they smacking themselves? I don't really get it. It feels like they're doing as if they were forced to do this. I mean, they picked the price themselves. So this probably has to be because the pre-orders for the game are not that great, right? If they were getting a ton of early sales, they obviously would not have changed it. If you, by the way, paid the $80, you are getting a refund. Look, this is of course a win for us consumers for sure. If you actually think about it, we now only had Mario Kart World going to 80 so far and sticking with it. But most people, I think the number was 80%, bought the Mario Kart Switch 2 bundle where you actually get the game for 50. So I would argue that it doesn't really count yet. And then we had the Borderlands 4 situation where the Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford was defending an $80 price tag and not saying that it was not going to be $80. But then the game still turned out to be 70. And now Outer Worlds 2 is backtracking. Look, I think it's inevitable that some games will cost $80, with probably GTA 6 biting that bullet. But the difference is that people will still get it for that price. We've already seen it in these past 2 years, and I think that we will only see it more in the future, and that is that the pricing skill is being explored more. Games like Helldivers 2 launching for $40, Palworld being $30, Expedition 33 was $50, and they all did super well. And we also have major franchises like Monster Hunter Wilds doing great at the higher end of the pricing tier. So I really think we will have to match prices better with the type of game, and I really think that for many, having that lower barrier to entry will actually make more people care. I would argue that if Outer Worlds 2 was $40, I think way more people would be interested, and then creators making content on the game would have more viewers. The word of mouth, if the game is really good, and again I think it will be, would be far greater. So maybe they would end up selling more copies and making more money. The reality is that we are in a time economy now as well. You have to get into the mind share of people, into their algorithm actually. And by building up big walls, by having a high entry fee, you might actually lower the amount of success you will have in the end. So I think that $80 for Witcher 4, The Elder Scrolls 6, maybe Spider-Man 3, it will probably happen. But I think it's good that we're seeing publishers learn the hard way that it won't work for everything. It really depends on the title. Of course, curious to hear your thoughts on this in the comments down below. So we got some Ubisoft updates. For one, Tom Henderson during the Insider Gaming weekly podcast noted that Star Wars Outlaws 2 was in very early development, but now got cancelled. Not surprising, you could argue that it's actually kind of crazy that they were thinking about a sequel, but I do think that the game's performance took them by surprise. So maybe before release they were toying around with the idea of continuing Kay's journey, but then when it significantly underperformed, which also caused them to delay Assassin's Creed Shadows out of November, the first time a mainline Assassin's Creed game was pushed out of the Christmas window, that's when they were likely, okay, let's do Division 3 instead and move the team over to that. The Ubisoft CEO blames the Star Wars Outlaws struggles on a choppy Star Wars universe. Of course, when they released the game, it was just after Acolyte. So yeah, the franchise was not in a great spot. But to counter that, we actually saw a huge resurgence recently for Battlefront 2, and even the Old Republic MMO had a huge surge in popularity, thanks to Andor Season 2, but also Revenge of the Sith going back to theaters. But even when those older games had a huge resurgence, Outlaws did not see any increase in popularity. I think the problem is really that they invested hundreds of millions in a Star Wars fantasy that simply not many people wanted to play. Imagine a cool Mandalorian or Jedi game in the beautiful Star Wars world that they created, but instead we are this squishy scoundrel in a game with very lacking stealth. it was a big mismatch. We also learned that Assassin's Creed Shadows has now reached 5 million players. The game is performing in line with what Ubisoft expected, and they are also seeing that price drops are really working for the game. They've been really holding back with that, way more than they usually have, but I'm expecting like a big Black Friday type situation, and I think they're gonna launch some big content around that November-December window too. Maybe around the launch on new systems, because they confirmed that the game will be coming to other machines, but they did not directly confirm the Switch 2, although it has to be that right, a rating for the Switch 2 version was actually already spotted. But yeah, they said machines plural. Would be wild if they did a Jedi Survivor and ported it to PS4 and Xbox One, but I really think with the new tech that would be hard. And their overall pipeline for their current financial year that ends in March 2026 is The Division Resurgence, so the mobile game, Rainbow Six Siege Mobile, the Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake, that, I don't know, maybe we see it at Gamescom. I mean, they want to talk about it at some point. NO is coming as well, and some other paid content between October and March, which very likely includes the Black Flag remake. As right now they're kinda expecting similar results compared to last year, but without a big release like Assassin's Creed Shadows. So I think it's happening, we'll of course keep you posted here. I know some people are like, maybe they will announce it at Gamescom. I don't think so. I think they will focus on the Shadows DLC first. That is by the way launching on September 16th. We of course learned that, a video about it up on the channel. But yeah, let's now go over other gaming news. Of course, leave a like, that would really help me out. I think I'm going to the pool after this. Oh yeah, and subscribe, because we post one of these, even if I'm here, every Sunday. Moving on to quick shots news stories I will go over quickly. Battlefield 6 was officially announced. Yes, the game has a lot of destructible environments. Every 5 seconds, something will like explode in that first trailer. Now, of course, it does look visually very impressive. It's only coming to current gen, by the way, while Call of Duty this year is still on PS4 and Xbox One. It also really seems to bring back the focus on more grounded warfare. It has a modern day setting involving a war between two factions. This single player footage, totally, I see the variety in missions they're going for. It could be awesome, but of course the multiplayer is where it's at, and we're getting a reveal of that on July 31st already. They seemingly want to do a big Call of Duty Next style event where many creators will be streaming and getting their hands on the game. That is also when you can pre-order, and the release date seems to be October 10th, as reported by a couple of people and actually leaked by EA themselves. But of course, as usual, there will be a beta, and it seems to be going live in August already, with potentially early access for if you pre-order the game. Like, EA is really going all in on this Battlefield project. They have the most amount of studios and people actually working on this title, and it's even caused some projects to be pushed internally, including Motive's Iron Man game, RIP. I mean, RIP, it's still coming out, but it will be many more years because EA prioritizes Battlefield. The earning numbers for the trailer are wild, like people want this to be good, so it's really up to EA to deliver this time. They have to. We got a really nice surprise update for Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. They're namely adding a third-person mode to the game that actually looks kinda wild. I wish they had this at launch, but better late than never, I guess. They're also adding New Game Plus, so you can replay the story with all your unlocks, but you might be like, isn't this a little too late? Well, actually no, because this game has not been out around the launch of an Avatar movie. It got delayed, so it came out at the end of 2023, 1 year after the second film, and now with Fire and Ash launching in December, Ubisoft is banking on a renaissance for their game. And I totally think that this is the best way they could have done it. Another plan they have is to release a director's cut, potentially with content based on the third movie, which is speculation on my part, but I think that would be smart. This update will at least be out for free on December 5th. Let me know if you plan to return to the game or plan to play it in the comments down below. Now time for the rumor roundup, where we look at the biggest rumors of the week and I give stars, with 3 being I believe it and 1 being let's take this with a huge grain of salt. It's almost August, which means Gamescom time, and during Jeff Keighley's show we usually get some pretty big reveals. Last year, Borderlands 4, Mafia the Old Country, and Dying Light the Beast were revealed for the first time. We already know that Call of Duty Black Ops 7 is planning their full reveal at the Gamescom event, but we now also got rumors that the next Metro game will be at the show. Fans think this because out of nowhere the 4A Games developer Twitter account is tweeting, while before that their most recent post was in February. I mean, they already confirmed that the new Metro game is coming, and it has been more than 6 years since Exodus. But, and I remember seeing this, Embracer Group, the publisher, pushed back a AAA game to likely 2026-2027, implied to be a non-live service, a single-player game, similar in results to Kingdom Come 2. Which just sounds like the new Metro game to me, so I give it 2 stars. Sure, it could be announced at Gamescom. If it does though, it likely won't be out for another year, so we will then see it like at the end of 2026. I still hope it. I think it's time. It's been a while. Another leak I wanted to quickly tackle is from Nick, who on the Xbox Era podcast said that Fable won't release in 2026 and how he heard that from 2 separate people. Now that Perfect Dark is cancelled, still sad about that. Fable is totally my most anticipated Xbox game, but with it like not showing up at the Xbox showcase and seemingly being planned before Clockwork Revolution that did not even get a 2026 date, it was always kind of a red flag. Xbox is also in this insane position where they have too many games, so they cannot properly focus on each single one of them. During the Xbox showcase, Phil Spencer noted that next to Fable, they will have Forza, Gears of War E-Day, and the return of a classic that's been with us since the beginning, which is very likely the Halo 6 1 remake. They have all of that in 2026. And then he did not even mention the things that Activision and Bethesda are doing in a year where a few months will already be occupied by GTA 6. So really, if Fable needs more time, they can easily give it. So also here I give 2 stars. Nick namely doesn't have an amazing track record, but of these 4 Xbox projects planned for 2026, I totally think Fable is the most likely one to slip. And that's crazy because it was first a 2025 title, but we will have to wait and see. So this coming week, that Battlefield 6 multiplayer reveal is happening on July 31st. We have a big Assassin's Creed Shadows New Game Plus update on the 29th. A reminder, we already planned the holiday way in advance, booked everything. So we'll of course have videos covering everything, just a little bit later than normal. Also sadly no Monday stream, but that will also be returning in the next week, and we will of course do a Sunday video. You can always expect that here, so subscribe to not miss anything. A like on the video would really help me out, and check out our Ghost of Yote video with way more info on the game by clicking on the screen. I will speak to you soon. Goodbye.